Going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the Pick and Pop podcast. My name is Bryan. I'm alongside
Aldrin.
and today's episode is called Ja Morant Troubles. How was your week?
Week was pretty good, man. We just laid back and chilled. They go by too fast, and then Saturday it snowed like all day.
Right?
It was annoying.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as they said it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Thankfully, because I had to drop my girl off to work. I was worried about the snow, but it was nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely sucked. I wish we had we don't have a long weekend coming up in a while. I don't think there's no holidays in this month. I don't think there's any in April either. I think we're straight no long weekends till May. So that sucks. But, speaking of a person that had a week that sucked, Ja Morant is going through it right now. Early in the week we got reports that he was accused of punching a 17-year-old boy 12 or 13 times and flashing a gun at him during a pickup game last summer. And then families filing a lawsuit against him. And then a couple of days ago, he posted a picture on Instagram Live, dancing in the club with his friends and flashing a gun. And just, I don't know, what do you think of what's going on with Ja Morant?
I think he's around the wrong crowd and stuff, and I guess he can't leave his past alone. Maybe that's things that he was doing in his past, but I think he just has really, really bad friends. And I don't know, the way Ja Morant's going about his life and even his NBA career, it doesn't seem to equate. It doesn't seem to bring winning mentality. It's more kind of I'm popular and it's just flashy, all flashy.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely around the wrong crowd. He's hustling backwards, like Shannon Sharp was saying. You're a multi-millionaire. You got a Nike endorsement. You got $200 million extension. You should not be trying to hustle backwards to prove anything to anyone. You're with the wrong crowd. You got to move, get better and better in life and not, go backwards at the end of the day. There's a lot of people who, are in the streets and they're doing what they got to do because there's no other means for them to make money. Whereas him, he's a multimillionaire. So I don't see why he's trying to act tough or trying to be hood. You don't need to do that. Just live your life. You don't need to really be carrying guns also. You got security guards that should be doing that and protecting you. So, I think he's definitely around the wrong crowd. And, hopefully he can get people in his corner that'll kind of set him straight. Because he put out a statement saying that, he's been drinking and trying to help deal with stress. And, while I get, being an NBA and being a public figure can be stressful. If that's truly the case that, he's been drinking and doing stuff to kind of cope with the stress, hopefully he can get himself some help, some counseling or whatever he needs. But the way he's acting right now, even with the Shannon Sharp situation with the kids and the guns and all that, it just shouldn't be happening. He's a role model and he's in the NBA. I just hope he doesn't throw his future away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Me too. He's such an amazing talent, and it would think he's like a cross between Derrick Rose and just Derrick Rose. I see. I'm not gonna say Allen Iverson, but Derrick Rose.
Yeah, no. You could say he Rose and Westbrook or something.
Yeah, he's a way better facilitator than those two, but he's pretty much compared to those guys, and it would just suck to see him, mess up his career and what he's projected to be. Because I consider him a superstar.
Yeah, and he got suspended 2 games, by the Grizzlies, and he's going to take some time off to kind of work on himself. It's bad timing too, as we're getting close to the playoffs, and the Grizzlies, one of the top teams out west, 2nd seed right now. So this is kind of a bad time to lose them, especially with the Kings playing well and they're on the Grizzlies' heels, and the Suns just got KD. This is kind of the worst timing for all this to happen. and
Yeah.
just the path that he's leading towards. I feel like I fear that he won't be in the league long if he continues this. So hopefully, this is just a wake up call for him. Set himself straight, and just chill out. Like you don't need to be doing this. Just get away from the people that he's hanging around with. Hopefully, his dad can kind of get in his head and just, make sure that he's on a straight and narrow path. Because he's young too. Like, you're gonna make mistakes. No one's perfect. No one's like an angel. But you have people like what's his name, Gilbert Arenas, who brought guns to the locker room and stuff. So like, there's been people in the past who have made mistakes also. But it's just he just needs to learn from his mistakes. That's all.
Yeah. We'll see what turns out. Luckily, it's just 2 games. Hopefully, there's no more things that come out. Those are the things that usually happen. When you're in that limelight, like weird things start coming out, people start blowing your spot up, things like that.
Yeah, because the NBA is also investigating him also. So like I don't know what's gonna come of that investigation. Hopefully not more.
Seriously, because you know how it would be. Like it'll just be like one thing and then it's like one thing after the other.
Yeah, exactly. With this cancel culture. So I mean the NBA is because we've seen people obviously different situations, but we've seen other people get like canceled and blackballed from the NBA. So, he doesn't want to end up having that because he's just like you said, he's a superstar right now, one of the young superstars we have in this league. Um, so I just hope that, he gets his life together. But yeah, Ja's, he has that situation. So we'll see how it unfolds. 2 game suspension. The NBA's investigating him. I have a feeling he'll probably be away longer than 2 games. I think, like I said,
You think something's coming out?
I just feel like with the NBA investigating him and him putting out that statement saying he's going to work on himself, I'm like, so 2 games off is enough for that? I don't know. I mean, luckily Nike, they're standing by. Well, I haven't heard anything about Nike trying to drop him or anything, so that's good. The
Nike's
Grizzlies,
unpredictable.
yeah, I mean, because he actually just put out like some dope sneakers, or he has some dope sneakers coming out. Because I seen the Ja ones and they look dope.
Yeah.
So hopefully he doesn't lose any endorsement deals, and he can just. The Grizzlies look like they're working with him. They're being supportive, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
Obviously he's their franchise player, so yeah, just get your head right.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on with that team, like Dylan Brooks. I told you off air, Dylan Brooks is like a nuisance. He's annoying.
Yeah, it's like we were saying off air. He's just like Danny Green with better defense, maybe. Like,
Pretty much.
I mean, like I don't get all the hype. Like him and Draymond kind of getting going back and forth also.
Yeah.
Draymond just saying he's basically a glorified role player, which is true. I mean, they both are, but like,
Yeah.
which is true. I never really looked at Draymond as a star. He's not, never was,
Never,
has.
never was, never have. Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely won't be. Um, you know, but yeah, they just got a lot of weird issues. So I don't know what's going on with the Grizzlies because they kind of like started off hot and slowed down. They had an incident with Shannon Sharp, and actually it's funny because DeMarcus Cousins had put out a tweet saying like, that's kind of what happens when you have young teams with no vets in the locker room. You kind of need that vet in there,
Yeah, it's true.
keep everybody in line.
It's true.
I mean, so like kind of thinking of it, they are a very young team. I mean, you got guys like Steven Adams, is maybe one of the oldest guys on the team. Actually, I think isn't Danny Green on that team? I don't remember.
He was. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but they need some kind of like vet leadership in that locker room to kind of set everyone straight because you don't want them to end up being like remember the Jailblazers back in the days.
Yeah, they were really young.
Yeah, I mean they were really young, getting in trouble. The Wizards too, obviously with the Gilbert Arenas situation, they were a young team. Like so, having that vet leadership in the locker room definitely helps for sure. Um, so we'll see what happens. Outside of that, also some other news. LeBron out indefinitely. Well, they're saying at least for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then he'll be reevaluated with a right foot injury. There was a video of him. What team were they playing when that happened? But he was on laying on the ground, and he was saying he heard a pop. He ended up, finishing the game, just going off of adrenaline. But he's out right now. And it's kind of the Lakers were actually looking pretty good after the trade deadline too. They were, I think they were
Yeah, they
like three
were.
and one or something like that, and then this happened. So I don't know. Do you still see them being in the playoff hunt with LeBron being out for this few weeks?
So I this is my theory on the Lakers situation. I think they're gonna test Anthony Davis to see what he can do. And
Anthony's oh yeah, go ahead.
and then I think if Anthony fails, I think they're coming off of him in the summer.
He's never been a number one option to me. I mean, we've seen his career, like when he was in New Orleans, like they didn't really do much until they got Boogie, and then they just pretty much, obviously injuries. They didn't make it far in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Him as your number one option. First of all, he's not really healthy enough to like really lead your team to
Yeah.
anywhere, say, because he's always injured. From a talent perspective, I think he has a talent to do so, but it's the health. He's never, he doesn't really have the health to really carry a team and be your number one option. He should be by now, because LeBron's obviously 38. He should be a number two and number three right now, but LeBron's still the best player on the team. Still, he's not at that point where he was at the Cavs, where he can like just carry any team to the final on the East, at least carry any team to the finals. I mean, he needs help. So AD has to step up. I don't, I think they're gonna, well, they're probably gonna miss the playoffs. I would say, like, I think LeBron comes back sooner rather than later. I don't see them going to the playoffs with AD
Yeah.
leaving them, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We
The
just
West,
gotta hope that AD comes around.
because the West is really weak this year. Like you look at the standings, like the Lakers and Warriors are playing right now. I'm watching the game as we record, and it's like the Warriors are 34 and 30, fifth place, and the Lakers are 30 and 34 at 11th. So the Pelicans were balling this year, but obviously after Zion went down, they went down. And, shout out to the Kings, they're balling this year. But the West is the Suns. I need to see more of. They look good. We'll talk about them soon. They look really good, but
Yeah, they do.
the West right now is wide open. I say the best teams are the Suns and probably the Nuggets. Probably gonna be the top two teams. The Warriors, we'll see if they can get it together at the last.
The Clippers look horrible.
Oh yeah, they're 0-5 since they got Westbrook. It's kind of crazy. Like I'm surprised they brought Westbrook in to start because Westbrook wasn't the point guard that they needed. They needed more of like a Pat Bev type off the ball point guard that can like 3 and D that can defend. They didn't really need a ball dominant point
I
guard.
think they should have went after Fred VanVleet.
That would have been nice too. Fred VanVleet would have been real nice on that team.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Clippers, they're not really the same. They've been just a huge disappointment. And they have Kawhi back, they have Paul George back, so they don't really have an excuse for, you know, being just basically a 500 team. They're in the AFC right now. I mean, they'll make it to the playoffs. I assume they got to start winning again at some point.
Yeah.
But they've been a huge disappointment, since pretty much since Kawhi got there. They haven't really accomplished anything, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, no, they haven't done anything.
No, so the West is wide open. So we'll see. I still, the Lakers might sneak into the play-in just because the Pelicans are probably going to fall out. I don't think Zion's coming back anytime soon.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that's the same because they started off real well too, and then just all of a sudden, boom! It's kind of crazy that draft where like, what is it, the 2019 draft where like Ja has been the best, obviously, but then now he has his troubles now. We don't know if he has his head on straight, and Zion's always injury prone. It's kind of like really the most reliable from that draft is like what's his name? Point guard on the Cavs. Am I forgetting his name? Garland. Pretty
Yeah,
much have been like I mean, Ja has obviously been tremendous when when he's not in trouble, but like I feel like
hmm,
Garland's been like the most reliable. Like you don't hear about him being in trouble. He has his injury issues here and there, but for the most part, he's been pretty good.
yeah, he's been pretty good.
So it's crazy. And then speaking of the injury bug, you also got LaMelo Ball, who suffered a fracture in his right ankle and he's out for the season on a non-contact play at that. Like
Yeah,
crazy.
makes me wonder what he does in the summer.
I mean, it's kind of like we were talking about off air. I think just some players are just injury prone. A lot of times it just has to go with luck because, like, I don't necessarily think Penny Hardaway didn't work hard in the summer or Amari didn't. Just some players just injury prone. Like, look at Lonzo. He's also just had some weird freak injury too.
Yeah,
I mean, so some players just it looks like LaMelo. I'm hoping he doesn't end up being like the next Penny Hardaway, but it's literally looking like that. They're both 6'7" point guards, injury prone.
yeah,
So I'm just hoping, he can kind of just get, but next season he can just come back. And the thing that sucks too is it's hard for you to get better when you're constantly just rehabbing and just trying to get back to what you are or what you were. That's it's gonna hurt his development so early on in his career. So, because he's very talented. I think he could, from a talent perspective, he can kind of be up there with like the Lucas and some of the top five player in the league from a talent perspective. But
oh, for sure.
he just needs to stay healthy and get right. And you see Jordan's going through it and just because he drafted well. He picked. I think a guy who has superstar potential, LaMelo, and he drafted Miles Bridges, who was really talented, and Miles didn't work out. LaMelo's injury prone, so it's a shame because I really like that franchise also. So it's a shame that what's going on over there. So hopefully they can turn things around soon.
Yeah.
We'll see. But speaking of injuries, we were talking about the Suns earlier. KD's back. He looked real good today against the Mavs. He dropped 37 on the Mavs today. What do you think about KD's fit with the Suns?
I like it. It's kind of like they pretty much plugged in a piece and it was set in stone. And then KD doesn't need the ball. He's kind of he's good in that sense. You know what I mean? Like he can just fit in with anybody, and he doesn't have to be the leader. Even though he is the number one option, obviously it's KD. But he doesn't have to speak up or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Lead. He's just there to play ball, which is something he's always wanted to do. And he's doing it. So they're going to be interesting. I think if they don't win, it's another bust.
yeah, I'll give him a pass for year one just because, like, the trade happened in the middle of the season, and obviously KD was coming back from injury, so they don't have a lot of time to kind of put together that
Joe.
chemistry and gel. But I think by next year they need to win a championship, or it's definitely that's a chance because Chris Paul is only gonna get older, and so is KD.
Yeah,
So, and I never looked at Booker's not a superstar; he's a star, and Aiton's like a really like a high level role player. So, um,
yeah,
so time's ticking for them. But I think KD looks great there. I mean, he can fit anywhere. Like I said, he doesn't need the ball in his hands to score. He's not like a ball dominant player. He can come off screens and stuff like that. So that makes him like a type of player who he can gel anywhere he goes. Like we've seen him gel with the Warriors. So,
yeah,
and Kyrie, when they were actually on the court together, they could, they gel. Him and Harden gelled. Obviously, he played with Westbrook. So he can play with anybody, so that's not going to be an issue. The issue is going to be can they stay healthy? Him and particularly KD and Chris Paul.
yeah,
How does Chris Paul fit with KD? Because Chris Paul is a ball dominant player himself, and he's most effective when he's running the offense and bringing the ball up. So we'll see how how that works out. Obviously Chris Paul is he can't give you 20 a game or 18 a game anymore. But if he can kind of just run the show, get everyone easy buckets, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah.
And Force stay healthy. So but I think if they can kind of gel and click, I think they'll probably come out the West. Honestly, Denver would probably be like their biggest competition. But outside of that, I think they can come out the West.
Yeah, me too.
For sure. And then what else is going on in the league? Oh, of course, we had Damian Lillard dropped 71 the other night. Like, Dame is so underrated.
He really is. He's super clutch. Top scorer, shooter.
Yeah.
You name it.
It was against the Rockets, a poor team, like a young team that's really developing, but nonetheless, 71 is 71. It's crazy. We had two players this year drop 71, him and Donovan Mitchell, both point guards.
Donovan's a shooting guard.
Well, yeah, Donovan's a shooting guard, but yeah, two guards.
Small guys, yeah. 6'3" guys.
Yeah, two small guards who can do that. Like, I don't think we've ever had that in the same season, like two guys dropping 71. And it's crazy because they started doubling him. He could have probably went off for like 81 if they did
wanted, yeah.
I don't know why they waited till like the third to double him. I'm like, I think he had like 40 or something at the half. I'm like, you should have started doubling in the second quarter. Like, like they had just no answers for him. And Dame is such a beast. Like, I don't think he's ever leaving there, so I hope they can just get a star player to come play with him. But the problem is he's in Portland. I don't see anyone trying to go over there.
Yeah, Portland has a hard time with not drafting, just acquiring talent.
Yeah, it's not a destination that people don't want to live there. You know what I mean? Like it's Portland, so if they don't obviously they had CJ McCollum, but he was really like a third option. I don't really view him as like a second option in the championship team.
Nah.
So that's the thing. So they never really gave Dame that true second option, and if he ever gets it, then sky's the limit. He even said like, "Y'all better hope I don't win a chip out here." But he's kind of spoke about how like the media and everyone makes it seem like if you don't win a championship, you're devalued. And he was just saying like, how good like Charles Barkley was? Like, we're talking about Charles Barkley. And just people just act like he was nothing because he didn't win a championship. And, it is a team sport at the end of the day.
For sure.
So I don't think we should take anything away from Dame not winning a championship just because he hasn't won a championship doesn't mean you have to take away from his greatness. He is one of the top players of, this era. And obviously he made the top 75, with no championship. So I think people have an understanding of how great he is. But if he was in a bigger market, I think he'd get even more love too.
Yes, he would. He would.
I mean, so it's a shame, but Portland, they're a young team. They have some pieces. I like Cam Reddish and obviously I like Dame, and they have why am I forgetting homeboy's name? Jeremy Grant over there. So they got some nice pieces, but yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they do in the off season because obviously Dame is getting up there in age too, so like they need to kind of strike while the iron's hot. So I don't know what moves they can make in the summertime to kind of get Dame some help. Feeney Simons is a talented young player too. Is he going to take that next step? They got Shaden Sharp. So we'll see what happens with them. They traded us Josh Hart, the Knicks. Kind of segues to the Knicks, who are the hottest team in the league. Well, now that the Bucks lost to Philly last night, the Knicks are like the hottest team in the league. They're playing the Celtics tonight on their 8-game winning streak. Like, what do you think about the Knicks this year?
They look good, man. I want to see if they could win a round. At this point, maybe they could.
Yeah, I think a good matchup for them in the first round would be Cleveland. I think they match up well with them just because they have a small backcourt also.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, I mean, you could say he's arguably the Knicks' best free agent pickup in history. Like what he's been able to do this season, helping Randall get right. Just been playing really well, just being a good leader of the team.
Yeah, he made Randall better.
Yeah, he's one of the top, one of the top guards in the East. One of the top, yeah, easily one of the top guards in the East. He had a great impact on the team. He's not a superstar, obviously. I think he's a good second, third option on a championship team. Rando's been balling out of his mind. Just he had a crazy game winner on the Heat the other night. He's playing well. He's playing at an all NBA level, and Brunson should have been an all star this year. Like the
For
voters,
sure. For sure. I think Brunson got left out because he's not a household name.
yeah, he's not a household name, and I think Randall made it, so they probably didn't want to give. They probably didn't want two players from the Knicks to go for whatever reason, but he definitely should have made it. He's an
Yeah.
all-star caliber player. RJ, I'm worried about. I think
Imagine if RJ was good. Oh my
yeah,
God.
yeah,
We would not be talking about the Donovan Mitchell miss.
yeah, because if he's a key factor. If he can play like just be good. Like we don't even need him to be a superstar, but just be consistent, like in his role. You know what I mean? I think he should take less shots, but more efficient shots. So
Yeah.
maybe take like anywhere between 8 to 12 shots a game, but efficient shots, like cutting to the baskets. And obviously his defense needs to improve. He plays good defense when Mitch is there, but when Mitch isn't there, he's trash on defense. So if he can defend, take an efficient 8 to 12 shots a game, average like 15 a game for us, just be that consistent third option, I think we'll be fine. And then next in the offseason, that's when you really they need to, add that quote unquote star player to kind of, because if this team is like, I think one star away from like being like really dangerous, because the way they're playing now, I know no team. I think we can play with anybody. Obviously, like we're not going to beat the Bucks or like the Celtics in a 7 game series, but
Yeah.
we can make them earn it. Like we can go 5, 6 games with them. You know what I mean? Maybe
For
even
sure.
seven, maybe even seven. Who knows? Tom Thibodeau is doing a great coaching job this year too. I mean, I've been last
Up
season,
and down on him.
yeah, last season he was bad, and he's been very stubborn the first couple years, but I'll give him his credit. He's been adjusting. He's actually making in-game adjustments and stuff like that, like benching RJ when he needs to. So I give him credit. He's doing well. If it wasn't for Mike Brown, he probably can win Coach of the Year again. But Mike Brown's just been doing a really good job. Yeah, with the Kings. But otherwise, we'd be in discussion for his third Coach of the Year award.
Yeah.
So kudos to them. They're playing really well. I'm hoping we get that Cavs matchup. I think that is our best path to the second round.
Yeah.
Because the Bucks are going to be tough. Obviously the Sixers with Embiid is going to be tough. Celtics, we've beaten them. We seem like we match up well with the Celtics this year, but in a 7 game series, I wouldn't, bet.
Nah, the Celtics are good, man, but I don't know. For some reason, sometimes I don't be trusting them. They be losing weird.
Yeah,
sometimes I'm like, is Jason Tatum playing? They be lost sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know like what's going on with them this year. Like, because they got smacked by the Nets the other night. I'm like, huh? like the Nets, but they're still one of the top teams in the league. But they're kind of inconsistent at times. So they're like a roller coaster up and down. So we'll see. We're playing them tonight. If we beat them again and we go up in a 9 game winning streak, the league's in trouble. The league is in trouble. I'll say that for sure. But I'm not gonna bet against the Celtics. I think, especially since we beat them the other night, I think the Celtics should win.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm thinking that the Knicks are legit. They're a game and a half behind the Cavs for fourth seed. And this team also is completely different than that fourth seed 2 years ago. This is like seems more legit. That other team was just like a lot of things went our way that year.
Yeah.
Obviously, COVID, empty stadiums, but this team seems legit. So I'm happy about this team. This is the most optimistic I've been about a Knicks team since that 2013 season when we had Melo and all those old vets and went to the second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely, I'm excited about this. So hopefully, I still got that Knicks fan PTSD. Like I still need to see them do this in the playoffs. But I'm happy from what I see.
The Knicks have given a lot of us PTSD.
Yeah, man. Remember we thought we were gonna beat the Hawks in the first round. Like, nope.
Yeah.
we got smacked. So I need to see it in the playoffs, but I'm happy from what I see so far. I want to see where this team goes, and if we can get to the second round, I think that's a successful season. And an off season, I want to see some moves to improve.
Yeah, big moves.
Yeah, I think RJ is. This stretch is important for him. He's playing for his Knicks future. Because I think if he plays like shit the rest of the season or in the playoffs, he's gone in the summer.
Yeah, he is. The It sucks that he's not panning out. I thought this would be his year.
Yeah, his breakout season, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I think he's coming, and then he had like a couple good games, and then it's just like, what? And then the 20 a game is like nothing. It's not translating to anything. It's kind of like, oh, RJ got 20, by the way.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, like 20 don't make you a star. Like I think that in his head he thinks that, so he's always pressing to get at least 20. And like nah, like you just play your role. Your third option, get you 15 a game on efficient shooting and play good defense, and it'll be good. And a couple other guys, Grimes. Oh, Quickly is candidate for sixth man of the year too. I think Quickly.
Oh yeah, he's been playing well. Um, I don't know. I feel like they can get rid of RJ and make Quickly play the two.
Yeah, they could. Quickly's probably maybe their best defender, perimeter defender, I say for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. You're not losing much, and see what you can get for RJ in the open market.
Yeah, honestly, like I trade RJ right now for. I mean, you're probably not gonna get a star back or anything, but
No. Maybe two pieces.
yeah, a couple pieces, maybe like a Mike Mikal Bridges or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
He'd probably fit better on this team because we need wings, like desperately. Like
Yeah,
Quickly, basically,
RJ kind of a tweener.
yeah, like Quickly is basically our backup wing. Like we need some like 6'8" like wings that are talented, could play defense, like long, like lanky. So
Yeah.
that's what we need. But the Knicks are hot, and then kind of ended off with Philly. Speaking of team that was hot, the Bucks were on a 16-game winning streak, and Philly snapped that winning streak. I was surprised. I don't know where I stand on Philly. Like, how do you feel about them?
Um, James Harden looks good. We know what Embiid is, but I think James was looking good. I'm okay with them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they need to just stay healthy.
Yeah, they definitely need to stay healthy. Embiid, I've always believed in. Like, I don't have any issues with Embiid. I mean, he played. He had 31 last night, 50% shooting. Hit a clutch three.
Yeah, like effortlessly.
Yeah, effortlessly. Best big man, I think best center in the league right now, hands down.
Yeah, hands down.
I think he's better than Jokic. Jokic is the MVP this year for sure. But I think Embiid is the better player. That's just me. 3 of 5 from downtown last night. He played well. Harden, 38 last night. Until I see Harden, step up in the playoffs and Doc Rivers really step up in the playoffs, I'm still on the fence about Philly. Obviously, like I know Doc has won a championship with the Celtics, like that's we know that, but
Yeah,
they're just He's outside of that, he hasn't really been great in the playoffs outside of the Celtics. I mean, we didn't do much on the Magics, the Clippers, they always underachieve. So this is really big for him. I think if they flame out early in the playoffs, like he's gone. And then Harden, there's rumors about him wanting to go back to Houston. So you never know, man. If that happens, if let's say Harden leaves and Doc gets fired and Embiid might, who knows? Maybe he'll ask out, get traded to the Knicks or something like that. I'll take him in a
Yeah.
heartbeat.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can't go wrong with Embiid.
Take,
Superstar.
yeah, take Mitch, take RJ, take some draft picks, and we're good. Like
Yeah.
we got MB, Russ, Randall, and Brunson. That's a pretty good team right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm excited about
It's
that.
all up to Harden pretty much.
Yeah, Harden is obviously he's not a superstar anymore, but I think he's still a star.
Hmm.
He didn't make it to the All-Star game this year, but he's still a star player. He's really talented. He's a really good number two option, honestly. He can get you 20 or 30 in a game. He could still get you like he had 38 today. So he could still ball out for you. He's just not a number one option anymore, but I think he's in his perfect role. And then Philly looks good. I don't think they'll beat the Bucks or the Celtics in the 7-game series. I think they're pretty much the third best team, in the East. And I think probably in the second round they'll probably be done, but we'll see.
Yeah.
They did beat the Bucks yesterday, so who knows? Maybe they could beat the Bucks in the 7-game series or the Celtics, but time will tell.
Time will tell. The Celtics better go to the finals. If they don't, that's weird.
I mean, they got a new coach. Although that coach is doing well. I mean, they signed him. Um, signed him permanently, so he's going to be with the team going forward. Ime Udoka is done out there. They got to obviously get healthy. Jaylen Brown he's been in and out past few weeks. Brogdon's playing really well, 6th man of the year candidate as well. Him and Quickly.
Oh yeah.
They're probably going to give it to Brogdon, but I wouldn't be mad if Quickly got it. I think Quickly deserves it too.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, they just said is out against the Celtics tonight, so Celtics will probably win.
Yeah.
Then,
they need Brunson to win.
Yeah, I don't trust RJ, so I'd say probably Celtics will probably win tonight. But yeah, it's obviously we're winding down the season. So the playoffs, I can't wait for the playoffs to be here. Like I just want to see playoff basketball and see what's going on, like which team's legit and which team's not. So we're gonna see that. But yeah, check us out on social media at Pick and Pop Show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you want to donate to the show, $, Pick and Pop Show on Cash App. And until next time, guys, peace.
Peace.